Now we will discuss various horoscope of the dignitaries of India and the world, simply to explain you the different yogas and how these people have become number one in the world and in India, and how they could do miracles in their life. First of all, we will discuss the horoscope of ex-President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, born on 15th of October 1931 at around 12 noon in Tamil Nadu, India. If you look at the horoscope, which we will show you different houses through our laser lights, the various combinations in the horoscope. Now you look at the horoscope made on 15th of October 1931 at 12 noon in Tamil Nadu. We'll take the basic charts as the Lagna, which is called D1, Karkamsha, and the D10, the chart for profession, and also the Shadbala, planetary position, their degrees, and the Karakas, right from Atma Karak to the Dara Karak. See the chart D1. Now see the chart D1, the Lagna, the ascendant, number 9, which is Sagittarius, has got a degree of 20 degrees and 55 minutes, and Saturn in the first house. This is called the first house and the Sagittarius ascendant. Now see the various positions of the planets. Moving from first house to second, third, and the fourth house has got Rahu in the Pisces. Now other planet, this is house number 5, 6, 7, which has got no planets. Now the Jupiter in the 8th house in its exaltation sign Cancer. 9th house, the Bhagyasthan, has got no planet, but the Lord being the Sun. Posited in the 10th house in the sign Virgo, along with the exalted Mercury and Ketu. 11th house, the Labasthan, the house of prophet, has got Mars and Venus. The Moon in its debilitation sign Scorpio, but in the 12th, in the nakshatra Jyeshtha, ruled by the Jupiter. And Jupiter is the Lord of the 7th house and the 10th house. Now let us start the analysis right from the time of birth. Mr. Kalam was born in the middle class family, a very decent middle class family, and you see the Rahu in the 4th house, which depicts whether the person is born with the golden spoon in the mouth or born in the middle class family or the lower class. But this house being the aspect of Sun, Mercury and Ketu, its 7th aspect, and also the aspect of Jupiter with its 9th drishti on the 4th house, so belongs to a respectable but a middle class family. Coming to the second aspect of this horoscope, Saturn in the Lagna, very balanced personality, though Lord of 2nd and the 3rd house, the Maraka houses, but born in the nakshatra Jyeshtha, the Lord of 7th, though exalted, was not a happy life in the beginning or in his childhood. He was to work hard because of the Saturn in the 1st house and aspect of Saturn on the 7th house and also on the 10th house. So the rise in life was inevitable. But education house, Rahu, the planet for research and the technical education. This is very important to see how he got the technical education. Aspect of Jupiter on the 4th house and the Rahu, and aspect of Sun, Mercury and Ketu, the micro analysis, Sukshama, or we can say this Ketu gives an education which involves research, and research also because 8th house Jupiter aspect on the 4th house, the house of education, so the occult sciences. In modern science we can say it is a research. When he was born with the Jyeshtha nakshatra, the Mercury being exalted, so he was a hard-working boy with his own intelligence. He could do good in his basic studies and did his aeronautical engineering. You see, why aeronautical engineering? Aeronautical engineering, he was granted PhD, the doctorate degree in 1958. In 1958, he was running the period of Venus. Now you see the Venus, Lord of 6th house in the 11th. 11th is a Labasthan, house of profit, though it is 6th from the 6th, may not be maintaining a good health at that time. But along with the Mars, which is the 5th Lord, again a house of research. 5th house is also considered as the advanced education, direct aspect, the 7th aspect. He could earn profit or money through Mars, means going to the defense services, and also aspect of Saturn on the 10th house on Sun, Mercury and Ketu gives a government placement or the government service. Now this is the basic analysis of this horoscope. Now the second aspect is the marriage, his personal life. This Lord very well posited in the 10th house, so he should have got married. But why? Mercury in the axis of Rahu and Ketu and aspect of Saturn, first of all, on the Sun gives a morose feeling towards that house. So the 7th house not having aspect of any benefic planet like Venus, which has gone 6th from the 6th, the Karaka for the wife along with the Mars. Bliss of marriage was depicted in the horoscope. If we see only this chart, only from this house, we have to go to the chart called D9. For seeing marital bliss, we have to go to the chart D9, which is called Navamsha, or the chart for the life partner or the partners in life. Now the 7th Lord in the main chart was Mercury, which is again in the 11th house, though Lord of the 12th, and here also the aspect of Saturn on the Mercury. Plus there is a Rahu Ketu axis. Rahu Ketu axis in the Lagna and the 7th house, which gives minimum or the minimal bliss from the marriage, and aspect of Saturn gives no life partner in life. So that is what is depicted in the horoscope, and he was a chronic bachelor in true sense. Reason: the Lord of the 8th house in the Navamsha is in the 3rd house Maraka along with the moon, which gives almost a schizophrenic feeling about the life partner. So they don't like. In the Navamsha chart, the house number 2, 2nd house is in the sign Scorpio, which is very secretive sign. But Saturn in it gives a Santa feeling, means the persons are away from the worldly affairs and into their profession only. Moreover, the 8th house has got aspect of the debilitated Jupiter, 8th Lord in the 3rd or 7th Lord in the 8th, and aspect of Saturn and Mars always gives some problem in the married life. To see the 10th D10 chart for profession. Now how this person of research, missiles, army, dreaded missiles, and also became the President of India, born in the very little middle class Muslim Orthodox family. Now you see the Lagna, Gemini, Mars into it, and aspect of Venus gives energies for the research. And the 8th house, the house of research, Moon and Mercury, the mind and intelligence, in the sign of Saturn, is posited in the house of name and fame along with the Ketu, which I told you give education in the research plus micro analysis of the things. Person is sure to do some PhDs. Saturn and Sun exchange in the 3rd and the 9th house along with the Rahu. Can you see? An aspect of Mars on the Mercury and the Moon gives some chemical imbalances and the metabolism of the space. Imbalance of the space is denoted by the combination of Saturn and Sun, and the Rahu Ketu axis into it gives a research which they make castles in the air, but work for it and comes true. Now in the 10th chart, can you see to it? The planets making him the President of India is Jupiter. But he became President of India in the period of Rahu. He became DRDO head of the department in the period Rahu. Rahu in the main chart was in the sign Pisces in the 4th house, the sign for research, and came to the sign of Saturn, which is in the sign Leo. So exchange makes a perfect Raj Yoga in the Bhagyasthana and in the 3rd house, house of name and fame. And the aspect of Jupiter on the 10th house plus the house, the aspect of Jupiter seeing with the 9th eye on the exalted sign in the house of money, where already there is aspect of Moon and Mercury, which makes a perfect yoga. As in the main chart, as you will see the main chart, Saturn being the lord of 2nd house, the money and Prakram. Now you see the perfect Raj Yoga created by Sun and Mercury, lord of 9th and 10th house, and Ketu's dispositor is also exalted, and aspect of Jupiter on the 12th house. So this gives a perfect combination of Pravajya Yoga, the 6-8 yoga of the Saturn and the 6-8 yoga of the Saturn and Jupiter, Moon aspected by the Jupiter, and 12th house also aspected by the Jupiter. The Lagna Lord aspects the Saturn, or so this is the Pravajya Yoga created in the main chart, plus the 5th Lord and the 11th Lord. Together Mars and Venus gives immense energies for the research. So this is a perfect yoga, Raj Yoga, to make this man number 1 in India or number 1 in the world. Another important chart to see in the horoscope is the Karkamsha. Karkamsha is the calculated from the Atam Karaka planet in the Navamsha, which is in the sign Virgo, and we take that as an ascendant, and Navamsha chart is rotated. From there we put in the same planets as it is in the Navamsha chart. You will find the Lagna Lord is in the 12th house, but aspect of the Jupiter and the aspect of Saturn, aspect of Mars. Now you see this 12th house from here has become very important. It means this person born with the Karkamsha as Virgo doesn't have his own family life, is a perfect horoscope, doesn't get the family bliss or the bliss of the children, but this person belongs to the nation. Saturn and Mars combination in the Bhagyasthan puts him into the army, puts him into the defense services, and plus he made weapons. It's very important to see. He made some dreaded weapons to kill because of the 12th house combination in Mercury. He was not a fighter because he doesn't have Mars anywhere here in the 4th house or the 10th house, but in the Bhagyasthan, in the sign Venus, he made equipments. And Venus, the lord of the 9th, is along with the moon of the Labasthan. So he is not a fighter, but he is making weapons, and weapons to kill, not for the peaceful purposes. Can you imagine? He made missiles. He was known as the missile man of India. Sign Mars gives another research work in his further education. He has been student throughout life. If somebody has Ketu in the 8th house, is always there. From this chart, you can see the Sun in the Lagna, the Atamkaraka planet, and Sun is Virgotam, is in the main chart, it is also in Virgo. In the 9th chart or D9, it is also in Virgo. So that puts him into the government service. And no aspect on the Saturn of any Saturn and Mars. So he was very successful in his Atam Karak Dasha, Shadbala. Other aspect is to see at the Shadbal the planets having the power behind them. You will find a lot of horoscopes with the same combination as they have, but the Shadbal shows the power behind the planets. If you see Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus and Saturn are above the optimum level of power. So no planet is without any power except the Venus going little down, so marital bliss was not there. Now we have to see the yogas, how the person goes to the army or the Marshallian qualities in the horoscope. There is very little difference between a policeman, an army personnel or paramilitary forces and also a killer. But one kills to take life and one kills to save lives. Here the combination you see is Mrs. Kiran Bedi, the first IPS officer of 1975 batch in India. Cancer Lagna rising there, and Cancer Lagna and the Cancer moon sign is always Rajyog Karak if other planets support. Here the Lagna Lord is in the debilitation sign in the 5th house and aspect of Mars, Mercury and Sun. Here the Jupiter is into the debilitation sign in the 7th house in Capricorn, but the dispositor Lord has gone to the Leo, Saturn, occupying the place of the father. Sun we take as a father, and our father being the Lord of the 10th house. Here the Mars has also gone 7th from the moon sign. Now this horoscope does not depict much of the qualities, but if you see the moon chart, that's more promising, and you must see the moon chart also. But I would like to say, always see the moon chart before you see the Lagna chart. Here in the moon sign you see moon in the debilitation sign in Scorpio, and from the moon the 7th Mars, Mercury and Sun, and it has got aspect of the debilitated Jupiter. So house number 7, which is 10th from the 10th, has become more powerful in the horoscope. Any combination between Saturn and Mars takes a person into army, police or any Marshallian activities. Combination of Sun and Mercury given her a government job because of the Sun. Mercury given her the intelligence, so she became an officer, not a general cop. This is the basics we have to see the Marshallian qualities. More promising her horoscope is the Karkamsha, where the Leo Lagna is rising and Saturn again has become Vargotam, and aspect of Mars from the 10th house on the Lagna makes her daredevil and to do everything. Atam Karaka planet is Sun, and that Sun has gone in the Navamsha in Leo. So again she has got the Marshallian qualities. Jupiter aspecting the Lagna in an aspect on moon in the D9, the Navamsha chart. So Sun and Mars combination in the 2nd house and the 8th house makes her to speak like men, maybe using sometimes an abusive language. Whenever the Sun is in the 2nd house in Navamsha, aspect of Mars and Saturn over it, she can use any language or he can use any language, may be unparliamentary. This is the horoscope of General J.J. Singh, the first Sikh to become Chief of the Army Staff in India. You see, goodness in the horoscope is Scorpio Lagna, and the Mars is in the 8th house along with the Saturn and Rahu. The most dreaded planets Saturn and Rahu along with the Lagna Lord Mars give him the quality to kill. Now Saturn has got aspect on the 10th house on the Mercury, and dispositor is the Sun, which is in the Labasthan along with the Jupiter. Now Jupiter has got aspect on the moon also, and Jupiter has got aspect on the 7th house too, 10th from the 10th. So he became an officer and a killer person, one who can kill for the country, who can die for the country, also comes from the 8th house. They have got the capabilities to put their life at stake for the nation, aspecting the second house, but exalted Ketu is there, a very soft spoken journal. He got laurels many times, and heredity, you see, Gemini, the lord of the 8th house, is in the 10th house. He was son of an army officer who participated in the World War also. This gentleman, born on 17th of September 1945, when 1965 he was a young boy, young cop in the army, and participated in 1965 war also. Mahatma Gandhi, denoted as father of the nation after the independence which India got in 1947. This legendary person was born on 2nd of October 1869. His father, the Lord of 10th, is there, lot of influence of father on him. And mother was always the weakness of this gentleman, because the moon was in the Labasthan, in the house of prophet with the Rahu. Now you see sun in the Lagna, in the friendly sign, but 12th lord, and from the moon if you see, the second lord in the third gave him all the name and fame and to fight against the administration and the government. In 1902, that was the start of his career for social work, or rather liberation of the people from the bondage. He went to Africa for doing practice and not to come back to India or make any revolutions. What makes this man so stubborn of his ideas? If his self-respect is hurt, so he can take any action in the world. That's because of the 8th lord. Very important thing. 8th lord and the 10th lord. If it is posited somewhere in Lagna or the second house, and if it is Mars and Mercury, this crops up or creeps up or pops up the scandals in the mind, which always takes very seriously. Person with the Mars and Venus makes castles in the air, but aspect of Jupiter, being the lord of 4th and the Badaka 7th, he always takes that as a challenge to fulfill with his stubbornness. India movement in 1949. Now during the period of Rahu, see, posited in the Cancer, almost into the exaltation sign as some people consider. Though text says Rahu is exalted in Gemini, but some people take exaltation sign in the Cancer sign also. Rahu and Moon together, Moon Manso Jata, it's a Karaka for the mind and stubbornness. Whenever the Moon and Rahu are together, schizophrenia to reach their goal and opt and adopt any methodology, but peaceful. Why? Because 8th lord is posited in the second, and Saturn and Mars have no combination at all in any of the charts. So he is not aggressive, he is not a fighter, but he fights with his ideas. Very secretive because of the Jupiter in the 8th house. So he plans, he gets the things done through his planning. During the Rahu period, which was up to 1940, the Rahu period ended in 1940, and then came the Jupiter period, which was 4th lord in the 8th. And if I see from the moon sign, then it is 7, 8 and 9th house in the Jupiter being the 5th lord in the 9th. So at that time, he started his movement aggressively, and Quit India movement was launched by him. Some part of the Saturn was yet to arrive, say 1943, of Britishers, because Jupiter was so strong in the 8th house, aspecting the 12th house, doesn't bother for the death. By that time, he had attained the level of spirituality which was beyond anybody's understanding, and aspecting the 12th lord, he had won over his and whatever he used to speak. So that speech was also under his control. Whatever he wanted to speak, he spoke, and nobody could get anything out of his mouth or put the words in his mouth and speak as he wished. This is the combination. Then you see wonderful horoscope. If I come to the Navamsha, there also the combination of Mars and Venus, because the ascendant becomes Leo, and again the Jupiter aspects Saturn, the Saturn being the lord of 6th and the 7th house, so had good relations with the wife, but energy to fight with the things. Anger was under control because of the Jupiter aspect on the Lagna in the Navamsha chart. If you see the Dashmamsha chart, Saturn and Jupiter along with Ketu and Mercury gave a wonderful combination for his name and fame even after his death, because of the moon in the 12th house. Sun being in the debilitation sign, so he could not acquire any government position, though he was having a very good position in the heart of the people. But Mars and Venus combination again in the 6th house, he could fight out the things. If now I come to his chart, when he was assassinated by a fanatic Hindu in 1948, 30th of January. 30th of January 1948, he was running Jupiter and Ketu period. Now you see the Jupiter, Badhaka planet, posited in the 8th house, and 8th lord along with the 10th lord in the 2nd house Marka, and Mars and the Mercury combination always gives scandalous death. 2nd house, so Jupiter and Ketu being in the 5th house, the karmas for the past birth or a time for the moksha. Whenever a person dies in the Jupiter and Ketu period, the violent death is due to the combination of the 8th lord and some combination with the Mars and Sun being the 12th lord. In Sukshama, the dasha was that of the Jupiter, Ketu and Sun. So that was the time of his assassination, and the violent death is depicted even in the Karkamsha Lagna. If you see it carefully, it comes to Mercury again, which gave again a scandalous or a death which is violent through accident. Mrs. Indira Gandhi, who became Prime Minister of India in 1966 and ruled almost most of the time till her last breath in 1984 with her assassination. Now you see how the Raj Yoga occur in this horoscope. There are many methods in which we see the Raj Yoga occurring. It's not the one methodology. Another methodology which fructify here as per the astrology is the exchange of the planets. Now you see the Saturn in the Lagna in the sign Cancer is in the sign of Moon, and Moon is in the sign of Saturn Capricorn, so there is exchange of the 1st and the 7th lord. Second exchange he got is between the 6th house, Venus posited in Sagittarius, and the lord of Sagittarius is Jupiter, is posited in the 11th house in the sign Taurus, and its lord is Venus. So two exchange in the horoscope are wonderful. Moreover, now you see Kendra and the Trikona. All planets are aspected by the Jupiter and posited in Sun and posited in the sign Scorpio, the very secretive sign, along with the Mercury, the lord of name and fame, the 3rd house, and aspect of the Mars on the Mercury. Mars and Mercury combine scandalous mind and plus scandal against the person, human being. So Sun, because the Sun being a 10th lord in the 5th house, she has always lived with the scandals, and all seniors kept on doing scandals with her and trying to put her down, but more she got an opposition, more she got strong in her life. And if you see the children, the 5th house and 5th from the 5th posited in the Labasthan, the house of prophet, aspecting the 5th house Jupiter, so she got only the Sun. Now you see here also the scandal comes in the 5th house. The children were the most weakest part of her in life, though it is of every mother, but she was in totally for the children and she wanted to do everything for them. But her children also died in the same scandalous death, or the death due to violence, accident or by killing because of the combination of Mars and Mercury. But she was lucky, she closes her eyes before anything happened to her children. It is because of the Jupiter. Now if I go to her, now you see her married life. Saturn being the lord of 7th house and in exchange with the Lagna, an aspect of Jupiter, she fall in love with a person outside her caste and lot of resistance from his father, the sun. The Mars being lord of the father's house, the 10th lord was also there. But Ketu in the 12th house, though in the debilitation sign, but Mahatma Gandhi intervened and they got married, but never had a congenial relationship of being a husband and wife and always in opposition to each other. But after the death of her husband, she took over like a man because of the Saturn and Moon combination and Jupiter combination on the Moon, the might. If you go to the Shadbala chart, the Mars, the most powerful, Sun being at the lowest ebb. So up till her father and the husband were alive, she was nowhere on the national or the international scene. So she was almost suppressed of her activities and also her power. 8th lord and the 7th lord in the Lagna, which I always explain, 7th lord, 8th lord in Lagna or in the 2nd house in combination with the 3rd lord, this gives a scandalous death or death by violence. Now you see that aspect of the Mars also on the 8th house and aspect of Mars on the Mercury. This Mars and Mercury combination is very dreaded. Though this gives courage and this gives intelligence, can make planning and play politics with the people around her, but it gives others also opportunity to do the same sort of scandals against you. Now if you go to the Dashmamsha chart, there the Sagittarius Lagna is rising, Mars goes in exaltation sign in the 2nd house, Saturn in exaltation along with the Moon and Jupiter in the 7th house aspecting the 11th house, and Venus in the sign Cancer. Mars and Venus combination is there, that gives an energy, though in the Shastras it is always explained that something is always wrong. Now you see the diseases she got. She got hurt in one incident when she was giving lectures. That was a period of Venus and the Jupiter. Now you see 6th lord in the 11th. It is 6th from the 6th. Whenever person gets such type of period in life, there is some problem with the health from the 6th also, though they are in exchange. So she got another relief of life. Ketu or Rahu in the 12th house, sometimes person goes to jail. But being this one, the lord of the 12th house, the Gemini, posted in the 5th house and aspect of Mars, gives a relief also, doesn't keep for a longer time in the jail. So these are the combinations you can see in Mrs. Gandhi's horoscope and how her violent death took place when she was running the period of Saturn and Rahu. Now you see the Saturn is a Maraka posted here, but Rahu being in the 6th house, that was a time when she got an attack from her own people where she believed. Belief of a person is always taken from Moon or the Moon's node Rahu. Always see the important combination of Rahu and Moon. 6th house you can take as your maternals, the closest people you have in your life. Whenever Rahu Ketu axis goes to the 6th house and the 12th house, one has to be very careful from them. Pramod Mahajan, another leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party, mostly remained outside the parliament or in the opposition. But you see his fate. His Saturn period started in 1990, and his Saturn, position of his Saturn being Lord of the 8th in the 3rd, a bad combination, but a good combination for the name and fame. because of the Jupiter aspect on the Saturn, so it didn't become Maraka in the beginning, but when the Saturn period ended and the sub period of Rahu came, so again a combination of the same, the 8th lord, the 10th lord, and some combination of the second, that's in the Venus, Moon and Mercury in the 4th house. And Saturn at that time, when he was assassinated, when he was killed, Saturn was in the sign Cancer and about to move to the Leo. Started his 7.5-year cycle of Saturn. And if you see, his Saturn is aspecting Sun and the Ketu. Saturn also aspecting the 12th house sometimes gives a violent death or death by a bullet. Now he was killed by his own brother, as told. 3rd house is the house of brother, aspect of Jupiter. But you see the position of Jupiter here. In the sign Gemini, the 7th lord, because of the dual sign, is always a Badhaka planet. So Jupiter, though nicely posited in his wife's horoscope, though the Jupiter is posited in the 7th house, so he got a nice and caring wife, but aspecting with the 9th Drishti or the aspect on the Saturn, the brothers became envious of him. So it was the point where he should have been very careful in his life, leaving emotions. At least he would have lived longer than the period. But during the Saturn period, he was in the Council of Ministers, he was a cabinet minister when Atal Bihari Vajpayee ruled India. So Saturn, being a lord of the Bhagyasthan, also played its role. Saturn, being lord of the 8th house, also became Karaka for his death. So whenever the planet owns 2 houses, so it gives the result of the both, though it takes over if it is a lord of the Kendra, the center, or the Trikona, the Lakshmi Sthan. But 8th house also has to give its result, which gave a sudden death to him. And if you look at his Karkamsha chart, where the Virgo Lagan is rising and Mars in the 3rd house is aspected by the Jupiter. So Raj Yoga was created in the Karkamsha Lagan at the time of his birth. Saturn having the maximum points in the Shadbala also gave power to the Saturn. In the Dashmamsha chart, the Saturn, being a Cancer Lagan, Lord of the Kendra, was posited in the Trikon. So that created a perfect Raj Yoga. This is the horoscope of Lal Krishna Advani, the leader of the opposition. Most of the time in his career, except for 5 years, he was Deputy Prime Minister of India and also Home Minister of India, but could not become number 1. What are the combinations? Now you have to very carefully watch this horoscope. Person is having all the capabilities, qualities, and he was a person who was behind making his own party as the number 1 party in India, but could not become leader of the ruling party. Why? Reasons. See, the 8th Lord. Why 8th Lord? Because it is 11th from the 10, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. The labh, the profit of the profession comes from the 8th house. And that has gone with the Mercury and Mars combination, a scandalous combination, along with the debilitated Sun. So he could not attain the highest position in his life. Now you see the position of Jupiter. In the 5th house, aspect of Venus in the labh, must have got money, must have got a position of second in command. Always, combination of Jupiter and Venus, they never become number 1, but they become second in command. They are known as Brahmins, a good guide, or the kingmakers in life. Now we will discuss the horoscope of the artist Lata Mangeshkar and what are the yogas for entertainment industry or art, culture and other allied fields. We will discuss first of all the horoscope of Lata Mangeshkar, the legendary singer, not only famous in India but all over the world, having golden voice. Why? See, the rising ascendant is Taurus and the Jupiter in it, and the moon is in Cancer in the third house, and Venus in the fifth house, Sun and Mercury in the fifth house, Mars and Ketu in the sixth house, Saturn in the eighth house, and Rahu in the 12th house. We have to see the second house, house of speech. The Lord of house of speech is posited in the sixth house. Means she has got the voice by the grace of God and from her previous birth, good deeds done by her. Now this Mercury and the Sun together are aspected by the fifth sight or the drishti by the Jupiter from here. To activate this more, aspect of the Saturn on the house of speech. Now the Saturn with the 10th aspect is also aspecting the second Lord Mercury here. Because she has inherited singing from her father and brothers and sisters are also all into the singing. See the third house, it has got moon in its own sign, the Cancer, and moon is in the Ashlesha nakshatra. The Lord of Ashlesha is again Mercury. So her sister, even her father and mother must have been into the singing. You see now the Shadbalas, Mars, Mercury, Saturn and Venus are at the zenith and having the highest heights. If you go to the Navamsha chart to fructify, there the rising ascendant is Virgo, again the Mercury exalted and Virgotam in the Navamsha chart, and second Lord again Venus in the Navamsha chart has got Rahu and Mars and Saturn, Sun and Ketu aspect on the same. If we go to the D10, the rising sign is Libra, where Mars is posited into it. This gives her the singing as per the classical style. It is again the rising sign is Mercury, Gemini, Lagna, and Sun and Mercury again in the fourth house, and Mercury is again exalted. And aspect of Jupiter very well there. And the Saturn aspect is also on the Mercury. So she got a golden voice for the second house, which is denoted here. Doesn't have a happy family life. See the dispositor of the seventh house in the sixth, along with the Ketu, and friends of the seventh house are Mars and Saturn, though it has got an aspect of Jupiter. So no conjugal relations or the bed comforts. This is horoscope of Amitabh Bachchan, another legendary and trendsetter in the film industry. Now you see here the Lagna rising is Aquarius and Ketu in it, Saturn in the fourth house, that too retrograde, and Jupiter in exaltation sign in the sixth house, and Rahu in the seventh house in Leo. Moon is in Libra. How he also got a golden voice, where he's the inspiration for many young actors and still legendary at this age. Even he's liked by all. Now you see the second house. First of all, the second house Lord is exalted in the sixth house, but the third parameter, the Mars, did not match here for making him an industrialist. But this Lord, 10th Lord, is in the 8th house and does not have aspect of Jupiter and Moon. So his line must have been the different. Sun and Mercury in the 8th house, so he did some research in the film industry or the acting. Basically, Sun and Mercury together, Bodhaditya Yoga, PAC connection with the Jupiter, or somewhere, and Venus also, it takes a person into the film industry. Now you see the second house, the house of voice, is aspected by Sun, Mercury, Mars, Venus, and also from the sixth house, it is aspected by the Jupiter. So 5 planets aspecting the second house. Entertainment industry, film industry, we take either from the third house or from the 11th house, and it must have some connection with the Sun and the Mercury. Now, the third lord in the 8th house, Mars is along with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus. A perfect combination of a film industry person and having a voice which is different from all others, or a bass in the voice, is always due to the aspect of Jupiter and Sun on the second house, where the person gets a natural bass in the voice which is developed by reciting the classical music right from the birth, but it is given by nature because Mercury was also the 5th lord in the 8th. Now, many a times he got injuries, and one injury in the stomach must have been fatal. That also is because of planets and their dasha running. That has also given him some results. If you see his children, 5th house, lord in the 8th house, he's got wonderful children also into the film industry, or the daughter going to a very rich family which was beyond the Bachchan family's reach if he would have been with his father or going into his father's profession of poetry. If you go to his Karkamsha, the birth chart, where the Leo Lagna is rising, and the second house again has got Sun, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, and Jupiter in exaltation sign is aspecting again the 8th house. Mercury, it is an exaltation sign in the second house itself. If you see the Navamsha chart, the second lord Jupiter is along with the Mars and Moon, though in the 6th house, so he won over his enemies. If you see the D10, Saturn in the second house in the sign of Cancer is aspected by Jupiter from Pisces in the 10th house, Mercury from the second house along with the Mars, because of the PAC conjunction, is also aspecting the second house, Cancer, and the Saturn also. If you see the other aspects of life, his stomach is the sensitive part in the body. If you see the main chart, and I come to the stomach areas, this is your heart and this is your stomach or intestine area, and the moon has gone from it to the 4th house, always having trouble in the stomach. If you see from the moon sign, it is the Saturn, the 4th lord, and posited in the 8th house from the moon. If you calculate from here, it is Saturn, and the dispositor of the Saturn has gone again to the 8th house along with the Mars. So stomach areas always remain his sensitive parts. Another legend actress of the film industry in India is Rekha. It's very important to see her 10th house, the sun nearing the debilitation sign, but exchange with the 11th house, Sun and Mercury. She was a born actress, as her father was a legendary actor from the south of India. Now, Rahu and Mars in the Lagna, though Rahu into the debilitation sign, and the dispositor of the same, Sagittarius, has gone to the exaltation sign but in the 8th house. So she knew the intricacies of her trade. And Moon, being a lord of the 8th house, has gone to the 3rd house. As per the records available in the press and media, at least 5 people she married and all died or not on this earth or do not remain with him. Why? 7th lord in the 11th. This is a perfect combination for the widowhood or divorce situations. Now Rahu and Mars together in the Lagna gave her lot of money, name and fame, Mars being the lord of the 5th house. And if you go to the Navamsha chart, here Jupiter is with the Rahu in the Lagna in the rising sign Leo, and Saturn and Ketu in the 7th house denotes the same for the marital bliss. Mars aspecting from the 5th house to the 8th house, so Taurus Lagna is rising, and Taurus is the 6th house in the main chart, and here Mars and Saturn combination in the 5th and the 11th house gave her to do innovations in her acting field. Aishwarya Rai, Miss World 1994 from India. Rising Lagna is Capricorn and Jupiter is in the debilitation sign in the Lagna, and Mars in its own sign in the 4th house, Saturn and Ketu in the 6th house, and Sun in the debilitation sign in 10th house, and Mercury in Scorpio in 11th house, and 12th house is Rahu, Moon and Venus. Now can we see how she became Miss World and famous, and she was the first Miss World from India. If you look at the Raj Yogas, created first of all the 3 planets in the Kendra and Lagna Lord in the 6th house along with the Ketu, Saturn. This gives her a power to win over all the enemies, as Venus and Moon was in the 12th house. Now look at the moon chart, which is more important. Here the Sagittarius, Moon is in the Sagittarius, in the Purvashar Nakshatra, along with the Rahu and Venus aspect of Saturn on it, and the 2nd house is having debilitated Jupiter and its Lord has gone from the moon sign to its 7th house, and the planet giving Raj Yoga, Mars and the Sun, if you see the moon sign, is 5th, and the Mars goes to the 5th house from moon. Now this combination created when she got the Mars period, and from moon it is the 5th lord and the 12th lord. Now this has created a Raj Yoga for her, and Saturn being in the 6th house from Lagna gave her victory over the enemies. That was a time when she was running Mars and the Rahu. Rahu, though it's in debilitation sign, but in the 12th house it becomes like an exaltation sign and victory abroad on the people. Now if you go to the Navamsha chart, here the rising Lagna is Virgo, and the Lord of Virgo is in the Labhasthan, the 11th house, in the exaltation sign of Jupiter, the Cancer. Again, being a Lord of the 3rd house, is in the Bhagyasthan in Taurus. So this all created her to win, which is very interesting. Here the Libra sign is rising, and Moon has gone into debilitation sign. Very surprising, the debilitated planets giving the Raj Yoga in the Kali Yuga. What the exaltation sign denotes, as the sages said, does it mean spirituality and money into the fields which were considered as bad. What are the combinations for a sports person? This is the horoscope of Sachin Tendulkar, the god of cricket. How at such a tender age of 14, God-gifted man got into sports. Virgo Lagna rising, and 3rd house is a house of name, fame, and also you have to see the going to sports. See the 3rd lord in the 5th house in exaltation along with the debilitated Jupiter, and both planets aspecting the Labhasthan, the 11th house. Now you see the debilitated planets in this horoscope. Mercury also in debilitation in the 7th house, Jupiter, and this Jupiter, the Lord of the center, has gone to the 5th house, and 5th Lord has gone to the 9th house. This is a very rare combination and exchange of the horoscopes. Very rare combination and exchange of the planets. 7th Lord and 5th Lord in the 9th. Now you see it's a combination of Jupiter, Mercury and Saturn all along. Sun in exaltation aspecting the 2nd house, the house of money. It's like the god of money has come to him. If you go to his Karkamsha birth, again moon being his Atam Karka planet, so moon chart and the Lagna Karkamsha becomes the same. From the moon chart, you see second house has got exalted Mars, third lord Saturn gone to the sixth house, that's win over the enemies, and a rare combination of 10th lord in the fourth, and in fifth house it is Sun and Venus aspecting the 11th house. So third house and the 11th house in the Lagna chart, in Navamsha, in Karkamsha, all have gone into a not only better position but into a rare combination situations. This is the horoscope of another rising legend in the Indian sports. Horoscope of MS Dhoni, captain of the Indian cricket team, came suddenly in the games, in the field and in the country's arena. Here, rising Lagna is Gemini, Lord Mercury along with the Sun and the third Lord. The house of sports has gone to the first house and second lord has gone to the third house. And if you see the position of Jupiter and Saturn, whenever Jupiter Saturn joins together in the Kendra, in the center or the trines, it always gives Sansar Prasiddha Yoga, means person is famous in the world or in India. Mars being the lord of the sixth house has gone to the 12th house, making this yoga as Viparita Rajabhanga Yoga. In odd circumstances, the person rises in life. Now, as he came to the field suddenly, the suddenness always comes from the 8th house. Ketu in the 8th house gives always the sudden rise, and the lord of the 8th has gone to the 4th house, along with the Jupiter, which is the 10th lord also. So this person is doing innovations in the game. He is making his own shots. He is making the play as he wishes in his mind, with a witty mind. That mind comes with Mars and the Moon combination. Whenever Moon is aspected by Mars, that person keeps innovating the things or discovering the things. If we go to the Karkamsha Lagna, which is more powerful, here the Virgo Lagna is rising, Rahu and Mars in the first house, lot of money. Rahu and Mars gives Mahalakshmi Yoga, lot of money with the person, and he has become billionaire in a very short period of time. Aspect of Jupiter along with the Ketu gives spirituality, aspecting the third house with Venus in Scorpio in the third house makes an Amrita Yoga. At the moment he is running Rahu and Saturn may have some problem with the game, but you will see very shortly after 2012, he is on to his character again if he survives the injuries. What are the combinations? How a person goes to the medical science? Very important combination in the horoscope, what you have to see is the combination with the 12th house or the 12th lord, because 12th house we take as hospital. The person remains in the hospital all the time, but curing the people, making them comfort. Here the very important combination for a medical science student or a doctor is Moon and Mars should be 6-8 from each other. The second should be Moon and Mars, or the 12th should be the Mars. This is the first combination to let the person know the human organs. Now the second combination comes Moon and Mars combination with the 12th house or the 12th lord. Here you will see Moon is in debilitation sign along with the Mercury. Mercury being the lord of the 12th house and the third house. Now the mind is always to cure people because the Jupiter aspect on the Mars, along with if there is a Saturn aspect on the Mars also, then he becomes surgeon. This horoscope is of a very renowned heart surgeon of India. He is a very renowned doctor and he rose to the heights, going to the foreign countries even for doing operations of the heart. Now you have to look at the Dashmamsha chart also. Here Virgo Lagan is rising and Mars and Sun in the Sagittarius, and Saturn has gone to the 12th house in the sign Leo, and Leo is posited in the 4th house along with the Mars, and Jupiter aspecting, of course, the Lagna, the moon, makes him a person, one who can really cure the people. Interesting chart is the Karkamsha Navamsha Lagana. Here the Scorpio Lagan is rising and Saturn in the sign of Mars, and Mars and Saturn are 6-8 from each other, and Moon, of course, and Moon in the Leo, and Jupiter and Rahu in the 11th house. This gives a perfect combination of a surgeon. This is the main chart of Swami Vivekananda. He was born on 12th of January 1863. If you look at his life, it was a life of spirituality, connection of the soul with the super soul, and a perfect Parvajya Yoga, where the person seeks salvation and always tries to find out the mysteries of the world, who I am, from where I have come from, and where I have to go. See the combination of planets in this house. The perfect Parvajya Yoga is Moon and the Saturn combination, some combination of the 12th Lord with the Jupiter, and 12th Lord combination or the 12th house combination with the Saturn. In this horoscope, see the Sagittarius Lagna rising, and the Lord is in the Lavasthan but in the malefic sign of Venus, and Venus in the sign of Saturn, and there is a exchange of Mercury and Saturn from the 10th Lord. So he was a great orator. Mercury in the second house gives oratory, good combination. With the Saturn, the level of maturity goes up, and PAC, positive aspect, and the conjunction of Moon and the Saturn. Moon is mind, and Venus is the worldly pleasures, which are very minimal when it has got aspect of the Saint Saturn. 12th Lord Mars is aspected by the Jupiter, and he maintained celibacy. Why? Because the bliss of marriage, Moon, is along with the Saturn. Saturn and Moon combination gives perversions towards sex. Let us see the D9 chart, the Navamsha. See the 7th house, Saturn and Mars together. Mars being the Lord of the Lagna and the 6th Lord, along with the Saturn, the Lord of the 3rd. 3rd Lord in the 7th or the 7th Lord in the 3rd gives perversions towards the marriage again. Spirituality comes from the Ketu. Ketu is in the 9th house, which gives a total salvation from the worldly affairs. And aspect of Jupiter on the Ketu, this also gives salvation, intuition powers, and Sun in the 2nd house. Sometimes the speech becomes erratic. A fearless person has got Sun in the 2nd house in the D9 chart. He remained in America and roamed all around the world, had a good atmosphere to live. That's because of the exalted Venus in the 5th house. In the D10 chart, again we have to see whether Parvajya Yoga prevails or not. Ketu in the Lagna makes person almost the headless, and thoughts goes inside and speaks out or spits out. If there is a combination of Mars and Saturn and the Sun, is a perfect combination of Mars, Saturn and Sun in the house of speech. Moon, the mind, the 12th Lord, Moksha, has gone to the 3rd house of name and fame, which he got of Moon came. And Rahu in the 7th house didn't have any partner in life. A woman came to his life who became her sister. That's because of the moon. Though she proposed him to get married, the sister Nivedita. But this lord in the Maraka Sthan against Saturn never allowed him to have a wife or the sexual life, and Jupiter aspecting the 12th house, aspecting the 10th house, makes him a big laureate, writer, and the knowledge of Vedas. Now let us go to the Karkamsha chart. See the Karkamsha chart, it has given in his birth horoscope to be a spiritual person, and moon being the 12th from its own sign. And 12th house is